Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to go over this video by a channel called Clearly Established. He is a civil rights lawyer from Texas who has been covering the Reckless Ben saga, as you can see here in the title of his video. And this video, of course, is about everybody's favorite police department, the American Fork Police Department. So he goes over a little bit on a little bit of their history regarding litigation. You know, spoiler alert, they've been sued in the past, and he talks about patterns and stuff like that, as well as some other things that I found to be quite interesting. But the part that really I found alarming about his video was this section he gets into here in regards to the training of the American Fork police officers. But I'll go ahead and let him explain that here, and then we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and give my thoughts here on the situation.
Essentially saying you need a pattern of similar violations to put the city on notice. Single incidents only work in rare, obvious cases. So for this, we would actually have to look to see what kind of training did these officers have. Well, I was able to get my hands on the officers' training histories. 9 officers total. Let me show you what their record says. I'm going to start with Lieutenant Adamson. His record is the most extensive. That's because he's been doing this since at least 2010. That's how long he's been with the American Fork Police Department.
And just real quick, if you all recall, and I believe Lieutenant Adamson was actually the one that arrested Reckless Ben's friend Sheldon for hanging up that sign in the neighborhood, the one that really triggered Josh, the one that he completely went bananas over, right? When it was placed across from his house. That was that officer. Remember, the one that was like seemingly looking for a reason to arrest Sheldon? Didn't really seem to have one, but found one. Yeah, that was that guy.
Oh, interesting that apparently during that time, you see from 2017 to 2018, he was with Provo City Constable's office. So I don't know if he was dual hatting, but he has a ton of certifications here. So Adamson is the most senior officer that appears to have been actively involved in this whole ordeal, at least from what we can tell. American Fork released their video on May 29th after the lieutenant, who is actively involved, took a 40-hour public and media relations course.
Oh my goodness. So for those of you that don't know what that means, I'll break it down for you. It basically means he took a course he took a course to basically know how to handle the press, essentially. How to handle himself, how to respond if he's ever put in a situation where a microphone gets shoved into his face by a reporter. Essentially, I mean, I'm really simplifying it, but that's more or less what it is. It's a public relations and media course is for that. It's basically how to deal with the media, essentially, and basically they probably taught him, how to say things without screwing up, basically, and making the department look worse. So that's more or less what I glean from that, because I used to actually, well, that's a story for another time, but yeah, I used to actually work closely with people that worked in public relations and media. So, but that's a story for another time. But yeah, it's funny that he got trained for that. But we'll continue here.
But what's evident in all of these records that you'll see are the amount of tactics and firearms. So I'm going to scroll through, and I want you.
And just to clarify, it's not so much that it's funny that he got trained for that. It's the fact that they did it right before they released the video, right? Is it because they knew that this situation was going to be out there in the public space, and they wanted to be prepared for it, right? You would think this would have been something that a guy who's been on the force as long as him would have already been kind of versed in, but it's kind of, I guess, again, it goes back to the idea that nobody thought, including the American Fork Police Department, probably didn't expect this situation to get as big as it eventually would get. So nobody had those expectations.
You to pay attention to that. We have defensive tactics here from May 5th. Use of force for 1 hour, May 5th. SWAT training day back on April 16th. SWAT training day back on April 2nd. SWAT training day back on March 19th. Defensive tactics back on March 10th. Active shooter, March 10th. Use of force, March 10th. SWAT training day, March 5th. SWAT training day, April 19th. SWAT training day, January 2026. More defensive tactics. Use of force. Firearm night shooter back in December a couple of times. Identifying a meth lab and their dangers. Another SWAT training day. Patrol tactical training. So I want you to notice something that's evident in these records. As we go through them, you can clearly see that there is nothing at all about First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, constitutional rights, period. All you see are use of force, tactics, firearm, pistol, and rifle, and SWAT. That's what you see here. Arrest control. And all of these things are only an hour here, an hour there.
So, spoiler alert, he's not the only one. Adamson is not the only one. And that's the part that I find to be the most alarming. Now, I don't want to play his whole video here because I think it's something y'all should watch, or we can go over on a stream later. But yeah, like I said before, Adamson is not the only one. And that's the alarming part of this, is that these officers aren't trained in some of the most basic civil rights that they should know in regards to people that they are going to arrest, right? And that's the alarming part. But then again, when we look at the body cam footage, it all makes a lot more sense. It makes way much more sense that these officers that were involved, especially the ones that we've seen in the unredacted body cam footage, a lot of them don't know the basics and probably really muck things up, right, for the American Fork Police Department and open them really wide here for a civil lawsuit, which I think is 100% what should happen. I think that once Ben is done dealing with bricks and minifigs, him, his friend Sheldon, and all their other friends that got arrested should absolutely sue the American Fork Police Department. Because you see it again, that body cam footage was probably the worst thing to happen to him, because it showed, like I said, with Adamson at the very top, him just trying to find a reason to even arrest Sheldon. The other officers that are just looking for a reason to arrest Ben, right? When you hear them on the phone with Eamon McNeff, the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs, basically telling them, hey, find a reason to arrest these guys, to pretty much make an example out of them. This is bad. And this is the reason why I want to see these guys be held to account, because they don't have the training to be out there doing or arresting people, right? Or if they're going to be, they're arresting people on flimsy reasons, right? And violating civil rights. That should not happen. And if there's not any kind of disciplinary action for these guys, there 100% should be, if there isn't already. But if there's a civil suit, I don't know if anybody's going to end up losing their jobs or whatnot. My guess is if it goes there, if there is a civil suit, I don't see a scenario where it goes to court. I think they'll just end up settling with Ben and his friends. But there should be some accountability for these officers for clearly not knowing how to do their job, and or at least abusing their power and just being very negligent with the way they handle themselves. So anyways, that's just my thoughts. Want to know what you guys think? Just let me know in the comment section below. And this is something I may go over on stream later in its entirety because I found it very fascinating. But I just wanted to let you guys know about it. And like I said, if you guys want to check this video out for yourselves, link is in the description below as always. And as well as the other links for Ben's GiveSendGo as well as Brian's GiveSendGo. So I'll be streaming later on tonight. Hope to see you guys on there. If you're not subscribed to the channel, would appreciate it. Hit the notification so you don't miss it. Like and share the videos. Appreciate you guys as always for watching. Thank you very much.